History handed you heroes. We're handing you the truth. These are the darkest secrets of the most famous figures who ever lived. And nothing will look the same after this. Albert Einstein. He redefined the universe but couldn't stay faithful in his own home. Einstein conducted multiple affairs throughout both of his marriages. Adolf Hitler. The man who reshaped the world through terror was secretly dependent on drugs. Hitler was a chronic drug addict, injected daily with methamphetamine and opioids by his personal doctor. Freddie Mercury. The greatest rock performer alive kept his HIV diagnosis secret until his final hours. Mercury announced his illness to the world just one day before it killed him. Michael Jackson. He built a paradise for children, and that's what worried the world. Multiple child abuse allegations shadowed the king of pop until his final day. Thomas Edison. America's greatest inventor stole more than he ever created. He crushed competitors with ruthless tactics and claimed credit for others' genius. Benjamin Franklin. Beneath the home of America's most beloved founding father, bones were found. Archaeologists discovered the remains of at least 15 people buried in his basement, most of them children. Henry VIII. He didn't just break hearts, he had them beheaded. 2 wives met the executioner's block simply because he willed it. Abraham Lincoln. The great emancipator's first priority wasn't freedom, it was keeping the Union intact. Lincoln initially wanted to deport freed black Americans entirely out of the country he claimed to liberate them in. John F. Kennedy. America's most beloved president was hiding a dangerous secret life. JFK conducted numerous affairs in the White House, some with deeply troubling political consequences. Whitney Houston. Behind the greatest voice of her generation was a decades-long addiction. Houston's drug struggle was a deeply hidden secret until it consumed everything. Tupac Shakur. He recorded hundreds of songs deep into the night at a furious pace. Those closest to him say Tupac moved like a man who knew his time was running out. Cleopatra VII. She didn't seduce powerful men, she weaponized them. Cleopatra used her relationships with Caesar and Antony as calculated moves for power. Julius Caesar. Behind the toga and the triumph was a trail of unimaginable bloodshed. Caesar's Gallic Wars resulted in the death or enslavement of over 1 million people in just 8 years. Napoleon Bonaparte. He preached revolution and equality, then crowned himself emperor. While betraying his ideals publicly, he was privately betraying his wife repeatedly. Isaac Newton. One of history's greatest minds was also one of its pettiest. Newton used his powerful positions to systematically destroy rivals' careers out of pure spite. Winston Churchill. Britain's wartime hero engineered one of history's deadliest famines. Churchill's policies starved millions in Bengal in 1943, while he openly expressed contempt for Indian lives. Elvis Presley. The king of rock and roll was being quietly destroyed by prescription drugs. His addiction ravaged his body for years before killing him at just 42. Charlie Chaplin. Chaplin repeatedly pursued relationships with very young women throughout his life. His marriage history raised serious ethical questions that Hollywood quietly ignored. Bob Marley. He sang about love and unity while abandoning most of his own children. Marley fathered children across multiple women and left many of them without a father. Martin Luther King Jr. The FBI's secret files on America's greatest civil rights hero revealed a shocking private life. Declassified documents allege King had numerous extramarital affairs behind closed doors. Christopher Columbus. He didn't discover a new world, he invaded someone else's. Columbus enslaved and brutalized indigenous people on a massive scale, launching centuries of colonial horror. Princess Diana. Behind the world's most photographed smile was a woman quietly falling apart. Diana struggled deeply with depression, bulimia, and profound isolation inside the cold walls of the royal family. Alexander the Great. The greatest military commander in history once killed his closest friend with his bare hands. In a drunken rage, Alexander drove a spear through his most loyal companion and wept for days after. Genghis Khan. He didn't conquer the world, he butchered it. Mass slaughter and systematic rape left his DNA in an estimated 16 million people alive today. Marie Curie. The world's most celebrated female scientist caused a public scandal that nearly erased her legacy. Her affair with a married man exploded into a media firestorm, threatening to overshadow 2 Nobel Prizes. Nikola Tesla. The man who lit up the world died alone in a hotel room with almost nothing to his name. Tesla's final years were marked by poverty, eccentricity, and painful isolation from the world he helped create. Steve Jobs. He demanded perfection from everyone around him and showed none toward his own daughter. Jobs denied paternity for years, leaving his child in poverty while he built a billion-dollar empire. Pablo Picasso. He painted some of history's most beautiful women, then destroyed them in real life. Picasso emotionally brutalized nearly every woman he was with, leaving a trail of trauma behind his genius. Thomas Jefferson. He wrote, "All men are created equal," while owning over 600 human beings. Jefferson enslaved people throughout his entire life, never freeing them even in his will. Bruce Lee. He pushed his body so far beyond its limits that it eventually gave out at just 32. Lee was dangerously obsessive, and many believe his extreme habits contributed to his early death. J. Robert Oppenheimer. The father of the atomic bomb once tried to poison his own university mentor. As a young student, Oppenheimer laced an apple with chemicals and left it on his tutor's desk. Ronald Reagan. As thousands of Americans died from AIDS, their president said absolutely nothing. Reagan stayed publicly silent on the epidemic for years, while his administration laughed about it in press briefings. Richard Nixon. The President of the United States ran illegal spying operations against his own people. Nixon's secret surveillance of political opponents triggered the biggest constitutional crisis in American history. Henry Ford. America's greatest industrialist ran one of history's most influential anti-Semitic newspapers. Ford funded and promoted vicious anti-Semitic propaganda that Adolf Hitler himself kept on his desk. Mahatma Gandhi. In the final years of his life, Gandhi conducted controversial experiments by sleeping beside young women, believing it would test and strengthen his self-discipline. Sigmund Freud. The father of the human mind was heavily dependent on cocaine for most of his career. Freud used it daily, promoted it publicly, and prescribed it to patients, with devastating consequences. William Shakespeare. While his neighbors starved, the world's greatest writer was hoarding grain for profit. Records show Shakespeare stockpiled food during famines and sued villagers over petty debts. Ulysses Grant. The general who saved the Union was quietly losing a daily battle with the bottle. Grant's severe alcoholism followed him from the battlefield all the way into the White House. Stephen Hawking. The greatest mind of our time couldn't figure out fidelity. Behind the legend was a man who repeatedly betrayed his own wife. Ludwig van Beethoven. He composed his greatest masterpieces in complete silence. Beethoven was nearly fully deaf when he wrote music that shook the entire world. Ivan the Terrible. Russia's most feared Tsar murdered his own son with his bare hands. In a single violent rage, Ivan wiped out his own bloodline forever. Mother Teresa. She was called a saint, but her clinics were closer to suffering wards. She believed pain brought people closer to God, and let the sick prove it. Muhammad Ali. The greatest fighter of all time refused to fight when his country called. Ali rejected the Vietnam draft, declaring no enemy had ever called him the N-word. Leonardo da Vinci. The world's greatest genius was deeply uncomfortable with his own fame. Da Vinci often abandoned commissions and avoided attention, tormented by the weight of his own brilliance. Charles Darwin. The man who explained human evolution married his own cousin. Emma Wedgwood was his first choice and also his first cousin. Mao Zedong. He didn't just rule China. His policies accidentally starved tens of millions of his own people. Mao's Great Leap Forward triggered one of history's deadliest famines, killing up to 45 million in just 4 years. So, which secret surprised you the most? Comment below, and if you want to uncover more of history's hidden truths, hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.